Can you compare playing RO to playing Tony Blair, and what different skill sets? What different skill sets do you have to do for either one?
Well, one is a slightly self-delusional psychopath, and the other one is Arrow. So, only joking. Yeah. Funny enough, when I was, because I watched it again yesterday, and there was one moment where I realized that when Arrow is trying to sort of convince all the other vampires about what they should do about this child, and he's trying to kind of persuade them, and he's being so disingenuous, and really laying it on quite thick, and trying to sound reasonable when in fact he just wants to kind of cause havoc and mayhem. I noticed that I instinctively started using some of Blair's kind of hand gestures, which is quite funny. But they were both in positions of power, I suppose. And but I think Arrow's got an insanity, the depth of which goes way beyond Tony Blair inside.
Michael, can you talk a little bit about the battle scene, what it was like to do, and also what's been your strangest encounter with a Twilight fan?
Well, the battle scene, yeah, I think we shot for. I seem to remember being on one, because it's set outside in a forest. I thought, oh, we're going to be in a forest for weeks and weeks and weeks. So bring all your warm clothes, get ready for that. And when we were doing the costume design, I made sure, because if you have a bit of pre-knowledge, I've learned from my experience that if you're going to be somewhere cold, and doing a lot of night shoots and that kind of stuff, you want to have a warm costume. So I made sure that my costume was like layers and layers, and it was kind of cloaks and really heavy things. And then, of course, I turn up on day one, and we're in a studio. And, it's all CG, green screen and all that. So I was boiling for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we were just, on this set, this snowy set, and I remember all the other poor vampires, because we were all, my team, Team Arrow, were up one end, and then the other lot, were down the other end. And we were like miles away from each other, so we couldn't even talk to each other when we were filming. We just had to stay like at either end of this thing, of this huge set. And these poor vampires having to stand around for ages and ages. At least for me, I was involved in it all the time. I had something to do, but a lot of other people just had to stand there forever. And then I don't know if you've heard about this, but there was this towards the last day of the battle scene. And I think it might exist on the DVD, maybe when it comes out or something, I don't know. But there was this huge dance that happened where the Cullen team had choreographed a dance, and as they said action, and we went to do this big sort of standoff, they suddenly went into, I think it was Sweet Dreams Are Made of This, and a whole choreographed dance routine, which was fantastic. So that kind of broke the boredom for once. And what was the last part of the question? My strangest encounter with a Twilight fan. I do remember being, I think I've talked about this before, but I remember being in a changing room in a store here in LA, and I think I was, buying a new pair of jeans or something, and I came out of the changing room, just to look in the mirror, and I think there were like two 13-year-old girls who I don't know how they knew, but they had found out that I played Arrow, and they just screamed at me as I came out. And I thought, I'll take these jeans, thanks. These work. I'll take two. But that was one of the strangest ones. Yeah.
Michael, can you talk a little bit about your post-Twilight experiences? I see you've got a Showtime series and also a new romantic comedy. Can you talk a little bit about your work since wrapping this?
Yeah, sure. Well, since wrapping this, because we shot both films, at the same time, so this feels like a very long time ago that we wrapped this. So I've done a lot since then. But recently, I suppose, I did the film with Tina Fey called Admission with Paul Rudd as well, and where I got to once again take on the role of Tina Fey's British bonkers boyfriend. That was great fun. We shot that around Princeton, and it was lovely to work with Tina again. So that was brilliant. And Yeah, I did the pilot for a Showtime show called Masters of Sex, which we'll start shooting the first season in January, I think. I play a character, a real person, Bill Masters, William Masters, of Masters and Johnson fame, for anyone who knows them. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be exciting. Yeah, it'd be great. No, the mustache was just for you. Well, it's Movember. But to be honest, I really don't need an excuse. Everyone, this is the thing when you're an actor, if you've got a slightly rubbish look or a slightly off look, people assume that it's for a character. No, it's not for a character, I just like it. But I can get away with it because everyone goes, oh, it's for a character, he's an actor. It's for a character, Clearly he doesn't want to look quite as knobbish as that in real life. No, I do. I even slightly waxed it this morning for you all. I've become a sort of 1950s cinema commissionaire. That's the kind of look I'm going for today.
So the last question right here, please.
Hi, Michael. If you could go back in time to just before you joined the franchise, what advice would you give to yourself, either about the experience or something that maybe you would have done differently?
I think I would probably give myself a good talk about, I probably would have gone into therapy just to prepare myself for what it's like to be on set with some of the most attractive young people around in the world today. Because there's nothing like being around Rob and Kristen and Ashley and Nikki and everyone to make you feel like an old, fat Welshman. Because, when you look at the makeup, you're supposed to look pasty. You got the white makeup on. And so, it's really not an attractive look for the slightly older generation in the film. For the younger ones, they look fantastic. They all look sort of pale and interesting with their cheekbones. I have to kind of wade through about 10 inches of subcutaneous fat before I find a cheekbone. So that was a bit tricky. Because you sort of stand around with everyone, and just by osmosis, you sort of feel like you're a bit more attractive because you've been around these attractive people. And then you get back to the makeup trailer and go, ah! And see yourself in the mirror. And that's quite scary. So I probably would have given myself a bit more of a talking to about that.
Thank you very much. Thanks. That was very entertaining. Thank you. It was great.